Welcome back. Today we're going to go over custom gearboxes. This is by popular demand. By the end of this tutorial, you're going to know how to do everything you're seeing here in this text file. It's going to make sense. So, let's tab into game, and I'll explain a couple of things. Alright, back in game. Let's start the editor up. Now, this tutorial is assuming you already know how to set up a friendly spawn and put gearboxes down, the default gearboxes that is. So let's go ahead and load up the mission from my last tutorial, which is Jester's tutorial. And here we are back at Camp Maxwell, and we've got our gearboxes down. Now, part of that gearbox load up I showed you at the beginning of the video would clear the gearboxes for you and make them empty. However, there's a gearbox in-game that is already empty. It's the blue supply box. There is not a red supply box, but for purposes of ammo boxes, it doesn't matter whether it's blue or red. It's not faction dependent. Anyone can use any ammo box. So the blue supply box is already empty. So let's go into game and check it out real quick, just to make sure. Alright. Here's all of the default gearboxes already, and they've got gear in them. It's the ordnance box. This is the mine box. I guess that's the ordnance box. And here's the supply box. You see it's bigger than all the other boxes. I believe it was put in because BIS knew that they needed something for custom gearboxes. So let's check it out. And it's completely empty. So this is the box we're going to use. I am going to show you how to empty a box, just in case you want to use one of the other gearboxes because of the graphic. It doesn't really matter which box you use. So let's back out. Alright, so double click your box and it'll bring up the box interface. What we're looking at for this tutorial is the initialization line of your box. All of the information for all of the weapons and items we're going to put in the box is going to go in here. The easiest way to do this is to create a notepad file outside of the game and then copy and paste everything into this init line. So let's take a look at the stuff we need to put in that notepad file to paste into here. So as I said, this is all the stuff that's going to go in that init line. But where are we going to find all of these class names? For the uniforms, the vests, the helmets, the backpacks, weapons. We are going to go to the BI forums. And the guys who made Ace already have class lists for everything that's in the game. And I will put this URL in the video description. So, first thing we want in our box, obviously, is weapons. So let's go to the weapons. And this list actually has most of the items as well as the weapons. But let's scroll down to weapons. And you've got your launchers, your pistols, your rifles. And it shows the display name, meaning the name you're going to see in game of the rifle. And then it shows the class name. This is the name that you're going to use. This is the actual name of the item that you're going to put in the init line to get the item in the gearbox. So to go along with your weapon, you're also going to need ammo. And on this website in particular, it has the ammo types that the weapons use already listed. So let's keep it simple to start with. We'll go with the basic pistol into the box. So first, let's break down what all this stuff means. So this addItemcargo, and for this particular line, it's the Rangemaster belt and the number that you're going to put in there. So this, when I put it in the init line, means this object. So when I put this line on the supply box, this denotes that this line is going to add this item to that supply box. So let's tab over here and we'll do this. But I'm adding a pistol, so I don't want addItemcargo. we have 4 different types of add items, or add cargos. It's add item cargo, add backpack cargo, add magazine cargo, and add weapon cargo. We want add weapon cargo because obviously this is a weapon. So, and then there's a very specific context that you have to use in order to get the weapon in there. So you open bracket, and then in quotation marks you put the name of the item you want. In this case it's handgun underscore PO7 underscore F. So we'll copy that, we'll paste it in there, and then you end quotes, put a comma, and then the number of items you want in there. So let's say we're making a mission for 10 guys and we want everyone to have a pistol. So we'll put 10 pistols in there, and then close the bracket. Now obviously to go along with the pistol, we need the magazines. So what type of magazine does this take? It takes 16 round and 30 round magazines. So mission for 10 guys, we'll say they want 3 standard magazines and 1 extended magazine each. So copy the name of the magazine, and then this, add magazine cargo, and then paste the name of the magazine in there. And I said we want 3 each, so 30. Look, I forgot to do something. At the end of each line, you have to put a semicolon to denote a break in the line. Do not forget that, very important. The box will not work otherwise. So we're going to put another magazine type in there, so we'll just copy that line and paste it. And we'll get the next magazine type, which is 30 round 9mm mag. And I said we only want 10 of those, right? So let's drop it down to 10. Now, if I put this, all of this right now, into that gearbox, it'll give me a pistol with, it'll give me 10 pistols with 30 16 round mags and 10 30 round mags. Now look, there's a space here. This stuff is always context sensitive, so make sure you don't have a space like that in there. And let's copy this and then tab back into game and see if it works. Alright, now we've copied it, just paste it into the init line. And this is why we do this in Notepad, because the init box is not very organized. So you've pasted it in there. Okay. Now, here's the box. Let's check it out. Now, here's our box, and let's see if the pistols are in there. Yep. 10 pistols, 30 16 round mags, and 10 30 round mags. So we're off to a great start. Now all we have to do is figure out the class names of all the other items we want in the box and put them in there. So let's check that out. Alright, so what else do we want in this box? We need uniforms, vests, rifles, grenades, medkits, all that good stuff. So at this point, if you feel confident in going through this list and populating your own box and using it in game, you should be good. But for everyone else who wants to follow along, I'll go ahead and put more gear in here and let you watch while I do it. So first thing we want is uniforms. We are good guys, so we're going to use the good guy uniforms. If we can find them. Here we go. Combat fatigues, combat fatigue t-shirt, and then the recon fatigues, which I think have the sleeves rolled up, and they have a brown shirt instead of a green shirt. So we're going to do these 3 uniforms, and we're going to put 10 each in the box. So we'll copy the uniform, and then for uniforms, we'll reference my other note file, and uniforms are add item cargo. So this, add item cargo, open bracket, start quote, paste the name of the uniform in there, end quote, comma, the number of items you want, so 10, and then end bracket, and don't forget the semicolon. Alright, now there are 10, which uniform was that? Combat Uniform MCAM. Combat Uniform MCAM, that's the standard uniform. So now we're going to put 10 T's in there. So first, what we'll do to make this easier is we'll copy this line and then paste it twice, because we're going to put 2 more types of uniform in here, and we want 10 each of them. So now we just have to copy the other 2 uniform types we want, and paste them in there. And make sure you only keep in the quotation marks exactly the item you want. So now we'll have 10 of each of these type of uniforms. So that's uniforms. We'll look at helmets and vests. I believe the helmets were up here. Yep. The ECH. I don't know what ECH is. I know ACH is Advanced Combat Helmet. So we'll do, once again, 10 of each of these. And since helmets are the same type of item, right? Let's reference this again. Yes, it's addItemCargo. So once again, you can copy that line and then paste it 3 times and grab the helmet types and paste them in here. And now we'll do vests. Here we go. Where's that Grenadier chest rig that I like from the other video? Here it is, Carrier GL rig. So for vests, we'll do Carrier GL rig green, Carrier rig green, and Carrier light green. We'll just do those 3 vests. And once again, it's the same item type, so we can copy that line and paste it 3 times. Alright, so that gives us uniforms, helmets, plate carriers, pistols. What do we need to still populate our gearbox with? We need rifles, and then secondary and tertiary items. Secondary items being smokes, frags, explosives, other items that you actually use from your inventory, and then tertiary items being your maps, compasses, NVGs, binoculars, things of that matter. So let's see, there's one item type we have. Backpacks. Let's do backpacks next. So our backpacks on this list. It's not looking like it. So let's go back over to the 6 website. Weapons, magazines, ammo, vehicles. And that's another version of the window I had open. So I'm not sure where the backpack lists is. So let's reference my other box for backpacks. And here we go. Backpack cargo, assault pack black. We don't want black, we want matching gear, so we'll use green. I don't know what color these actually are. So let's take these 2 backpack types. And add 10 each of them. So we have the assault pack and the kit bag, 10 of each. And you'll see that now we've populated the list with all 4 types of items that we can put in a gearbox. It's add weapons, add magazines, add items, and add backpacks. So now we'll go back through the list and we'll start adding our... Well, first let's get our primary weapons in there. So what kind of primary weapon do we want? We of course want the M14, which is, I believe, the M39 EBR. So let's scroll down the weapons list until we find it. It's going to be towards the bottom, or did I already pass it? There we go. It's towards the bottom. So what is the base name of the M14 with no attachments? I just want the M14 with the grip and nothing else. Here we go. It looks like it's the S rifle EBRF. So we will take this, and we will actually go back up to the top where we put our pistol, and we can actually copy that line and add it in there, and then copy the name of the rifle, and there you go. There should be 10 M39 EBRs in the box, and they'll be bare bones. They won't have any of the attachments, so we have to add the attachments. But first, let's add the magazines. Now, there's only one magazine type for this rifle now, and these are primary magazines, so we're going to want to add a lot. So we'll do 100. Is 100 enough? For 10 guys, that'll be 10 mags each. So yeah, let's do 100. Copy and paste. Make sure you take out those extra spaces. And change it from 30 to 100. Alright, now let's grab the item names off the list. We want the flashlights, the lasers, all the optics, and those are up at the top of the list. So let's scroll up to the top of the list. Or were they? Yep, they were near the top of the list. I'm not a big suppressor guy, so I'll leave suppressors out. But we want the ACO, which I think is Advanced Combat Optic. We don't want the green version. So let's grab, and these are items also. So we can copy another add item list, and we'll put it underneath the weapons and magazines just for future editing purposes. I always separate the different item types with lines. So I've got my weapons, then my magazines, and here I'm going to put the weapon attachments, and then uniforms, helmets, vests, etc. As we go on, I'll create spaces between all the different item types. So first of all, let's see how many times we have to paste this line. And what I can do is I can delete that out of there so I don't have to copy over it every time. So we're going to put one item type, and then we're going to put, we're not going to use the RCOs, we're going to use the RCOs. So that's 1, 2, and hollows will be 3. And where are the lasers? We're going to want lasers and flashlights, so we'll put 5 lines in there. So that's 1, and I already copied it, so 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll go in and start grabbing the names. And where's the flashlight? So we'll just hit Control F and search for flashlight. There it is. It was the top item on the list. Copy the class name. Oops. Undo that. Alright. So now we have 10 rifles in there, and then we have your choice of optic and flashlight or IR for each of those weapons. Now we need to add our compass, GPS map, radio watch medkit. Not medkit, we need first aid kits for most guys. Medkits are only used by the medics. But you'll be able to navigate the menu yourself. At this point, I'm not going to fill up the rest of this box, but I am going to show you what we have in here is going to look like in game. So we've got 10 rifles, 10 pistols, magazines for each, optics and attachments for the rifles, 3 different types of uniform, 3 different types of helmet, 3 different types of vests, and lastly 2 different types of backpacks. So let's copy this all and tab back into game. So here's a supply box. Select everything and delete it, and then paste all of that stuff in there. Now, it looks real sloppy when you look through it, which again is why we use the notepad file. And we'll preview it in game. Alright, we're in game. And here's our box. And look at all that stuff in the box. Now for some reason the backpacks, I put 10 in here, but it puts them all in individually. I think it's probably because when you, well no, because it stacks the vests. So I don't really know why it puts them all in there individually. But let's check it out. Let's change our uniform to short sleeves and change our helmet type to spray paint. Did it change it? Yeah, it did. And then change our rig. We'll do the light rig. And then grab our rifle, and it'll replace the rifle over here. And then what do I want? I want an RCO and a flashlight. And don't forget your magazines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then a couple extra pistol mags. And there we go. There's my M14, my short sleeve uniform, my light vest, and my spray painted helmet. All from this box. So at this point you guys should feel fairly comfortable with opening up a notepad file. So at this point you guys should feel pretty good about making your own gearbox. And what I do, all I do is I save my gearbox to the desktop, and that way every time I need to fill up a gearbox, I tab out, I copy everything, then I tab back into game, and I paste it into the box. I don't believe there's anything that I left out that is important to making a gearbox. I'm sure if I did, I'll get bombarded with questions about it. So that ends the gearbox tutorial, simple gearbox. There are other ways to do gearboxes, but this is how I do it. And as usual, thanks for watching. Frag out. Jesus. I saw it go in. Right's clear.